So it should hopefully save, and then I'll go ahead and send it over to Mr. Monroy. See, that's the issue is that I don't have a lot of space on my laptop, so I'm gonna have to like be constantly like sending files, deleting files right now.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and let's start it. So I'm gonna go ahead and like just start the interview. I'm gonna ask you questions and whatnot, and then we can kind of go from there. So, Mr. Torres, what kind of made you want to get into the Americorps program and specifically choose Fremont as your side option?
Well, to start off, the Americorps program interested me because I plan to major in education and hopefully one day become a teacher. And seeing how Fremont is a primary school and elementary is actually my focus, I see it as a great opportunity.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Specifically, so you talk about becoming a teacher and you talk about how you're really interested in elementary. So do you see yourself kind of being a teacher in elementary and kind of what grade level?
Definitely, yeah. I plan on hopefully going in between third to sixth grade.
Okay, third.
Yeah, because I have some experience in working with students from third to sixth grade.
Okay, perfect. What type of experience do you have in working with students kind of at that age range?
I used to go to asset trainings, which is for after school enrichment programs. And I used to help them with tutoring, do after school activities like, let's say, playing outside, but doing a cooperative activity all together and being able to communicate with them thoroughly to meet their needs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it sounds like you have, that you're bringing in kind of like a lot of experience, to Fremont. So another question that I have for you is kind of what challenges do you kind of see with, now transitioning to working online with the students and kind of like how are you going to address those challenges?
Well, certainly the main challenge would be just being able to interact with students through an online setting, because obviously some students have trouble paying attention in class, so it's going to be even harder for them to pay attention at home when they're distracted by all of their surroundings. But just being able to maybe have like a one-on-one with them, be able to connect with them, be able to communicate very well with them and understand what they need in order to be successful will definitely make that challenge easy.
Yeah. So I think, trying to combat that issue, right? And trying to really take it kind of student by student, right? Because they're all kind of dealing with different issues, right? They may be overcrowded. They may not have the best Wi-Fi connection, right? So what you're talking about is trying to like scout those issues, right? And then like addressing them like kind of like head on.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And then another question I have for you is, so how old are you? Kind of like when did you graduate? And you talk about getting into education, right? So kind of like what are your current career plans with that?
Well, first of all, to start off, yes, I am 20 years old. I graduated from Aurora High School in Calexico in 2019. And in that high school, many teachers and staff were mentors for me, helping me get through continuation high school. So as they mentored me, it actually inspired something in me that I want to be that for someone one day and be able to change a student's life one day, hopefully. And now I'm attending IVC, majoring in liberal studies, and hopefully transferring to SDSU to get that major and a bachelor's degree, hopefully.
Yeah. So it definitely sounds like you're motivated. It sounds like you're determined, right? To kind of pursue those goals. So I think Fremont is definitely going to be kind of like a great place, to help you kind of build on that, to address those challenges and to make it kind of like a really fun and insightful experience. So just my last question for you is kind of what are you most excited about for the school year?
I'm definitely most excited just to meet with the kids and be able to, help them learn, help them be successful, and just see the smiles on their faces. Because with this pandemic, we don't see much of that. So we really do need those smiles back.
Exactly. All right, well, Mr. Torres, it was great talking to you, and I hope this little interview, definitely kind of introduces you to the staff and whatnot. And I know the staff is super excited to have you, and I hope you're looking forward to a great year. Thank you for taking the time.
No, yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, no worries. Sounds good.
All right, so today we're here with Mr. Casey. If you would like to do a little introduction yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. So my name is Mr. Casey. I am a part of the Americorps program. This is my second year, so I'm a returning member, and I'm super excited to be back at Fremont Primary School. I was here last year. I helped out with tutoring the third and fourth grade classes, and I am currently thinking about going for my teaching credential. I have my BA. I graduated from UCLA back in 2019. And, I was really kind of undecided on what I wanted to do, to pursue as a career. So right now, after having that first year experience at Fremont and really kind of getting that hands-on, learning, I am, really considering becoming a teacher now, but I'm kind of still unsure about what grade level. But again, I'm super excited to be here, as an Americorps member this year again for the 2021 school year.
Nice, thank you. You mentioned that you're getting your teacher's credential, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So while at Fremont, do you think the experience there is going to help you out?
Yeah, perfect. Great question. So I definitely think, especially with this year, with kind of like the challenges, what I really liked about last year is, that I was able to get that hands-on experience and really kind of, get integrated with the school and, become familiar, with all the different staff and all the different teachers and whatnot. And I know this year it's definitely going to look different, right? So I do think it is important to try to, get Google Classroom down, get ClassTag down, get all these different applications and these different resources down. And I think, just having this hands-on experience, being able to tutor, different students, being able to be a part of the ACES program is really going to help me out when I am going for my teacher credential, because it's going to give me that background. It's going to give me that kind of that experience to draw on. So definitely, I know my experience this year is, really going to help me out when I do enroll in that teaching credential program.
Correct. So you mentioned the resources, for example, Zoom, Google Classroom, Google Meets. Knowing that some students have challenges in logging on to those, how do you plan on taking on those challenges?
So another great question. I think, it is really student by student, because I know just a few weeks ago, I was over at Fremont. I know kind of like a lot of the parents are like, well, my link's not working, right? Well, we need to figure out different ways to kind of combat those issues. So I know we're going to have constant questions, right? We're going to have constant concerns, but I think it's just, trying to answer those questions to the best of our ability. I know last week I was like, okay, well, how can we get around this if the link's not working? Let's try to find the meeting ID. Let's try to find the passcode, right? Let's try turning that on and off again, right? It's finding those little ways and, being very patient. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we have to be patient, and that we have to know that, we're not going to have all the answers to these issues as soon as possible. So I think, just being very patient, getting really familiar with the programs. I know we had orientation these past 2 weeks for Americorps, and we had hands-on training about how to use Zoom, right? How to use Google Meets. So I think kind of becoming familiar with those and really doing our research on those programs is kind of like the biggest thing that we need to address.
Good answer. That's a very good answer. When it comes to Fremont Primary School, I know how you said that this is your second year as an Americorps member and second year being back at Fremont Primary. What do you look forward to this year in Fremont?
So I look forward to another challenging year, because I know last year, I had to adapt. I really had to get to know the teachers. I had to get to know, kind of like all the staff members and whatnot, and really just the school. I'd really not been out in Calapat. I'm from Brawley. I really, was unfamiliar with Calapat last year. And this year it's like, okay, what's the challenge? It's, using Zoom, using Google Meets. How am I going to keep students engaged, by using these applications? So I think that's one of the biggest things is, keeping the students active, keeping the students engaged, and at the same time, making sure that they're learning these programs, but also learning the material, right? We're there as English tutors. We're there to help improve them. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just to see improvement. And, when you see just a child improving, as the months go on, it really brings kind of like a warm feeling, because that you're making an impact. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just knowing that you're making an impact. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that I look forward to, and it could be through the ACES program, it could be through the tutoring, it could be, through improving the students' social skills. So those are just a few challenges that I kind of see, and that, I want to be able to address and to have a positive impact on.
Correct. Yes. And yeah, like that, honestly, that finishes up the questions. But yeah, we look forward to working with you and Fremont this year, and Americorps as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I really appreciate the Americorps program. I know they do so much for the community. And again, I'm super excited to be here at Fremont again, and I'm looking forward to it. So again, thank you, Mr. Torres, for this interview. And, I look forward to a great year working with you and the rest of the Fremont staff and the Americorps staff.
Of course, it's a pleasure.